was it that actually struck you when you, I mean, I know it was quite some time ago, but when you interviewed Prince, I mean, we could go ad nauseam.
Let me just tell you something. He was so pretty. He was beautiful. He was pretty like a doll. Because remember, he was pretty and he was teeny and he was petite. So when you see him on stage, he seemed like he was 6'9". And they said, you know, it was a funny story. Bob Johnson, who owned Black Entertainment Television here in the United States. Some of you may BET. He said that he went to talk to Prince at Paisley, and Prince said, you know, come on in the bedroom, whatever, and said that there were 3 beds in the bedroom. And Bob Johnson
seriously
was like,
he said, take your pick.
Which one am I going to sit on? I don't want to be sitting in the room with this guy on his bed.
Wow.
So that was a funny story.
Well, the mind boggles right there. I never heard that story. I've heard a lot. Wow. Did anyone get one bed for each of you? Oh, hang on. So a little bit of a naughty comment.
We have a co-producer here that is off camera. We can't reveal his source.
We can't. He's actually an iconic man.
He's part of Prince lore. We cannot reveal who he is on camera, but he's giving us some info. And And
he's suggesting that there are these 3 apparently luscious women. I think he said luscious. Yes, he's nodding. You're saying luscious.
I think he's saying the 3 of us are luscious. I think that's part of the.
And that the 3 of us would be good for these 3 beds.
The 3 beds.
Yeah.
Theory.
Yeah. Apparently.
I really started to believe at some point during the conference that Prince was an X-Men. He was just an early prototype because it was really challenging if you didn't know his actual life story to think that this one person could do so many things that well. When the guys were talking from Paisley Park about how Paisley Park got built, and they were saying that Prince wanted all these state-of-the-art things, the guy said something that Prince wanted some lighting hookup or something, and the guy said, that's going to cost a fortune, and Prince said, what am I, broke? No, Kim Berry said it, the hairstylist. She said something about him not being a boss, but being a leader.
Absolutely.
That was really interesting, I thought.
Her big thing, and we actually spoke to her a couple of days ago, she was amazing. Her big thing was that Prince was all about, you don't work for me, we work side by side with me. Although she did add to that everyone knew that he was the boss, but he never carried himself like that. So there was never a case of being made to feel sort of less than.
Until he fired you. He didn't make you feel less than. He just fired you.
But while you were still in his employ.
You weren't coming up to snuff. They said the guitar techs, they knew the guitar techs by number. These are the guys from the Paisley Park panel.
Right.
So they would, they'd say, well, which number are you? You're number 37. Or they just called you 37 because you were the 37th guy that got fired. And there were more techs that were coming after you. I always thought that would be a tough job, Prince's guitar tech.
Being just working for Prince, I think, would be a tough job.
But the people who did it, so many stories that I've heard, both at this celebration and also the stories that came out after he immediately passed, were from people who said, until he pushed me, I didn't know I could go that far.
Exactly. And
so after working for him,
I was fearless. That was the common thread.
Yeah.
Guy was talking about one night where he would be up until 2 or 3 because Prince just had to have this conversation. He just had to. And, when Prince wants to talk, you got to talk. Right? So they were up talking about something to do, I think, with religion. Anyway, it was some fiery conversation. And Prince asked this graphic designer, whose name escapes me sadly, what he thought about X. And this man responded in a way that Prince wasn't particularly happy with. And instead of getting angry or upset, he just got up. And if I try and do it, because he was fantastic, the graphic designer actually demonstrated. Prince just stood up and he said, yeah, but John, you're just dancing around the top. Now you just dance. So he had a wild sense of humor.
They said Prince.
Yeah.
The one thing I remember from interviewing him, aside from his beauty, was that he was cracking jokes the whole time. He was laughing. I mean, it's because I brought out that humor and he secretly liked me, but, he was just married to Maite at the time and he couldn't, but he was laughing and he was very comfortable with me.
And you were a whole lot of woman for him.
Yeah, I was still,
Still a whole lot of woman for him.
That's not a guy who sat around and said, I'm very talented and I'm just going to, I'm going to half-ass play this guitar because I'm kind of good.
Yeah. You know what? Shh is the sexiest song ever written. Shh.
Oh,
the
that's
one
your favorite?
from the Gold Experience. Oh.
Yeah, well, we there's this writer in Minneapolis who he's well known for covering Prince for many, many years, and Prince actually lit that review on fire live on the Arsenio Hall show back in the day. I would be honored if Prince had ever burned up any of my reviews. I would have been like, thank you. I would have called Prince and said, thank you, Prince.
Secretly,
you read it. Hey, you had to like it. You had to read it to burn it.
I think that this particular writer that we're talking about was also quite thrilled that Prince ripped up his writing. Oh, absolutely. Because us writers are very needy creatures.
He's kind of a sort of curmudgeonly type of guy.
You think? I think he's just a little soft pussycat. He's a soft pussycat.
Well, the curmudgeonly ones on the outside are always the nice ones.
Totally. He's like marshmallow inside, this person. Mm-hmm. So just going back, because we could go on, and then we have to identify the person.
If you're
Let's just get back to that brilliant piece of footage. It was the launch of the piano and a microphone tour.
So it was so emotional.
And so I saw the piano and the microphone tour show at the State Theatre in Sydney. Literally 3 months to the day before he died. And watching what we saw at Paisley Park and having known what I saw in Sydney, they were two completely different shows in that what he did at Paisley Park, he basically told his story from when he was about 4 or 5 years old. And sadly, we didn't see the whole thing, though. We only saw about 45 minutes. But basically, he reenacted the time when he was maybe 5 or 6 years old.
Yeah.
He saw this big, beautiful piano that belonged to his father, popularly known as quite a strict disciplinarian, I believe.
Yes. No, Prince said that. He said that on the Tabitha Smiley show, that his father was very, very hard on him.
Very hard on him, and wouldn't let him touch that piano. So Prince has got this instrument that he's desperate to touch, and he doesn't, and he just says, well, I think I'll just go and watch TV. So he physically got up from the piano. He pantomimed.
And sits on top of the piano with his little self.
And he started to eat popcorn and watching TV, and then he put it down, and when he sat back down at the piano and said, maybe, and then he said, that's right. So now I'm 7 years old, and my father has left the house because my parents are getting a divorce, and you could see the sadness. I think the sadness was palpable. And he said, but you know what? I'm actually quite glad that he's gone. Again, that's very
And then he
revealing.
said, because I can touch that piano now.
But I interpreted that to mean that he was glad that all that arguing and whatever was going on in that house was now over because his father had left. So I said, okay, well, maybe now I can play the piano. And he got up and he started to play something, which was a Motown hit.
No,
it was Batman. That was his first thing.
Batman thing?
Yes, Batman. And then he played Motown, and then he stopped and he said, I can't play the piano. And he got up, maybe I can listen to the radio. So he got up and walked away and came back, and he said, well, maybe I can sing.
He talked a little bit about radio in Minneapolis back in his day, because I'm sure it was very eclectic.
It was cool.
It was less corporate than it is now. You had much more wide range and variety of songs. So he was taking in all those influences from the radio, and then he goes back. He's acting all of this out on the piano and microphone tour, and he goes back and he's like, I'm learning how to do, the piano's getting better. But there was this really brilliant portion where he kind of shows how he wrote I Want to Be Your Lover.
It was sensational.
Yeah, he does a few chords, and then he's like, wait, I need to change it up.
I need to change here,
And then he's like, well, should I start singing? And then, it just was.
But what I took out from that as someone who wants to create new things, and he spoke to every single person in that room who has ever had a dream, and you've stopped yourself because you think, I can't write, I can't sing, I can't play, I can't dance, I can't paint, I can't garden because I'm less than. But in that little tiny demonstration in front of the piano where he was saying, I can't sing, and he would walk away, and I can't write a song, and he would walk away. Imagine if he had actually believed that he couldn't, how much poorer this world would be.
Oh, yes.
So that's that, and I was quite emotional in that moment. Not because he died, yes, obviously that's very sad, not because I was sitting in his big old house, but because he was speaking directly to me as an artist. It resonated, and as a human being, that we are always talking ourselves out of doing stuff that will make us fly.
And he kept going, and he kept working that craft, he kept working that talent. He's somebody that maybe he didn't live as long as we would have liked to, but I'm going to tell you what, he didn't waste too much time on this planet. He really did not. He did not squander his talent. He was generous with his talent. Every single person who came through and did a panel talked about how much he gave. Not how much they got from him, but how much he gave to them in encouragement, in pushing them further, in coaching them, in encouraging them. and even through humor sometimes, and sometimes through being a strict taskmaster. I mean, the generosity of spirit that he had in terms of sharing his gifts with people, and not for fame, not for money. He says it in an interview. He said, I didn't seek fame or money. But then he also did say on the Piano on the Microphone tour segment that we saw, he said, any artist who tells you he doesn't write music to cop girls is a liar. So,
oh, really? He said the word cop? I thought he said cock.
Cop.
Oh, right. That's honestly what I thought he said, and I thought he's being sassy now.
That's called African American vernacular English.
Sure, okay. Which clearly I am not fluent in, so that's why.
He said, "I'm trying to." He said, "You're trying to."
Else.
It's a little, and actually, Prince was 57. That's a little bit older slang, but
and
yes,
well endowed. Well endowed. Maybe that's why I was hearing that word.
Phyllis.
Well, but anyway, so let's move swiftly on. Anyway,
the man had many gifts. Okay,
many
gifts. Let's just be clear.
Many gifts. And if you like that video, Purple Army, there is plenty more where that came from. All you have to do is subscribe to this channel and do all that social media stuff that's coming up on the screen. Oh, and peace.